Whoa, look at all these new buttons. Oh my lordy lordy, it's new button time. Oh my gatos. Oh my gatos. Whoa, pushing buttons over here like a madman. Let's see how this goes. Wait, scene 4? Scene 3? 5? 1? Oh, what's up, everybody? It's Friday, and I almost said that it was Monday, and it is definitely not Monday. It is Friday out here in my neck of the woods, wherever I am at. Where am I? I am in not Eastern Washington. I am not in Oregon. I am not wherever else I was going to mention. I'm not in Europe or anything like that. I am in Western Washington in the homestead, and it actually is live. To those of you that are worried whether it's live or not, let's look over here at the chat real quick. We got Alana Suki, we got Jessica Taylor, we got Alyssa Bentley, who actually is literally in here. Big D Smoke is here. Robert the Butcher. I see Preston John. What's up, my man? Jacob Zeller, how you doing? Rumbust. Joel G from New Zealand. 54 Punchy, I see in the chat. Big D Smoke, what's up, my bro? Rocky's Rocky, Fisheye on Tactics, and Frank Dominguez first to the chat. What's up, everybody? Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. I don't know who else is here because YouTube has recreated the control panel. It is all brand new and very confusing. So this thing is over there, that thing is over there. You set up the stream completely different, and it's all different, guys. So we may have some technical. We may have some technical difficulties. Words escape me at the moment. Technical difficulties. Is that right? I don't know. But we shall see how this goes. It should be fun. We do have Alyssa here, and let me introduce our co-host of the day, Alyssa Bentley. Brought to you by chocolate. Yes, we all have deep thank yous to throw out there for chocolate for bringing our special guest today. And I'm all super high up, so let me go. I was giving Alyssa a hard time because she didn't know how to use the levers in her chair. Oh no, wrong lever! There. Now I'm at
There's too many levers.
sort of the same height as Alyssa. There we go. Now it's like sort of framed up. That seems reasonable. I think people could handle that with their brains, right? Okay. So Alyssa is brought to you by Chocolate. So thank you very much, Chocolate, for sponsoring today's show. Even though Chocolate is not a company or anything like that, because we don't have any sponsors around here. We are fan-funded via the Patreon. Do you know about the Patreon, Alyssa?
I do, in fact.
How is it?
I like it. It's there's people posting on there, and you can talk to them about stuff. I like it.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. But, hey, the only way that we're able to really bring this show to you is not because of YouTube. It's not because of this or that or the other thing or whatever. Even though we do have members on YouTube, the whole reason we're able to do this show is because of Patreon. It's easy to go over there and look at it and go like, wow, it's over $1,000 a month. That's how I'm able to even do this show. I leave all the numbers on Patreon public because I can. By the way, it is an option. So if you go to somebody's Patreon page and they don't have that number public, 99% would just be like, nah, I don't really want to help out with this channel. Because it's like, why would the number not be public? Because you're all sneaky, right?
Right.
So I leave it public on there so people can kind of know what's going on and at least get a look at it. You guys can see how many people. We dropped a bunch of people. I don't know what happened. I probably pissed some people off, and they got all mad and stomped their feet and left. We lost like 20-something people like going into September. I was like, oops, I don't know. Maybe I irritated some people, and that's just kind of how it goes. But just want to say thanks to everybody for that. And speaking of the Patreon, Alyssa and I are going to answer Patreon questions today.
Yes.
And also, something I would like to point out is that if you become a member on YouTube or on Patreon, you will get access to our Discord chat, which is the 24 hours a day. It's its own entity, so you're able to live chat, do all that kind of stuff. You can do a lot more than you can do in the live chat here. You could post pictures, memes, whatever. It's not no holds barred, but if you drop the occasional 4-letter word or whatever, you're not getting censored by the censor robots or any of that kind of stuff. Obviously, we do like to keep it relatively safe for work, so there's nothing on there that's really above PG-13 and whatnot, but there's a lot of discussions on there, specific stuff. You can ask questions, all that kind of stuff, and it is 24 hours a day. Because I was listening to Corey from Aquarium Co-op, was discussing it on his live stream, which is kind of funny because I was working at the Aquarium Co-op listening to Corey's live stream. I was up there doing some work this week, and he was mentioning that like if there was like a 24-hour chat the YouTube people could come in and chat on, and I was like, and then a bunch of people were posting about it in our Discord of like, what do you mean, like this? It was sort of like, oh yeah, we do have that going on, don't we? Okay, yeah, so that's kind of the cool thing. It works, with your cell phone and that kind of stuff, and you can turn it on, turn it off, whatever you want to do. But that's how you kind of gain access to that. If you become a member on YouTube, you do have to take an extra step and go into the community tab and find the link and that kind of stuff. Ryan Melling is asking in the chat, not familiar with Patreon. Is it an app? How does it work? So it's a third-party web page, essentially. It's hosted by its own independent company that people can go on there, and if you wanted to sponsor this show, or there's a whole bunch of other creators on there, and you're the kind of person that's like, hey, you know what? I got rid of cable. I got rid of this. Like, I mainly watch YouTube and maybe Netflix and the other thing, and you're like, oh, I only spend like, $12 a month on Netflix and maybe $10 a month on YouTube, and you don't want to necessarily be somebody who's like having to super chat all the time and stuff like that. You could go over to Patreon. You can make an account. It's pretty simple. You just it's like your basic information, nothing too over the top, but you can be somebody who you could sponsor like my channel for like $1 a month if you wanted to, which is basically realistically nothing.
Yeah.
And you could be like $1 a month. You could be $100 a month. You could be totally crazy and be $15,000 a month. That's the cap, by the way. And by the way, I don't think that anybody would ever sponsor me for $15,000 a month. Right? I don't think anybody would ever do that, but it's mainly on there as a joke. So we have like $1, $5, $10, $20, that kind of stuff. And you can also put in a custom amount. So if you wanted to be somebody who's like $3.28, that's what I think it's worth, right? Mm-hmm. Then you could do that too. So it's pretty basic, but it's a great way to sponsor a channel. And I think it's a great way to sponsor a channel. And I try to give the most rewards to the people who are willing to throw in $1. You know what I mean? You throw $1 into the fund. I honestly feel as an American that I regularly hear from other Americans that are like, well, vote with your dollars, right? If you want to vote with your dollars, that's a way you can do it. So I 100% respect the people that are willing to just go like, hey, here's $5 a month. I like what you're doing. I hope you can keep going, because we're pretty independent. We are sponsored a little bit by Aquarium Co-op, that if you guys do go through our affiliate links and stuff like that, you're able to, we get a slight commission from people buying stuff at Aquarium Co-op. Same thing with Amazon. If you go through our Amazon links, whatever you go buy, we get a slight commission for that. So that's basically the only sponsorship that is going on. And full disclosure, if you guys do see Rob the Butcher in the chat there, we have been kind of petitioning and emailing to see if we can find some sponsorship money out there to try and do some bigger projects. But I'm happy to say, because of the Patreon, I will be heading to Europe. The trip is booked. I will be at the Vivarium convention in the Netherlands. November 1st and 2nd, I believe, are the dates on that. So anybody that's out in Europe right now, or maybe you live in Europe, maybe you're in Europe right now just wandering around like apparently my mom is.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Happenstance. My mom happens to be in Europe right at the moment, so I think it's kind of funny. But we'll be out there. You could come out to that convention. You can meet me, Chris Lucup. I know Eric Martins is going to be there. And everyone else that I knew was going to be there has escaped my mind, like just a little cloud of dust just popped ethereally into the heavens, and I cannot remember anybody else who's going to be there. But I know I'm going to be there. Chris will be there. Johan will be there from the Patreon today. He's the guy that does our weekly Fish of the Week on Patreon. So he'll be there. I'm going to go film his fish room. We're going to film a couple of stores. And by the way, exactly what Johan is doing is basically what is asked of anybody if you're hosting somebody like myself that creates content on YouTube and stuff like that. If basically what he's doing, he's called his local stores, he's called some other people in the area that have cool fish tanks and stuff, and said, hey, here's this guy Corvus, he's weird, check him out on YouTube or whatever if you like. We want to come by and film, and here's when we'll be around. Is that cool? Basically, like getting permission from the people that you already have a relationship in your town. It's a great example would be like when we were in Michigan and Minnesota. People called ahead and were like, hey, Corey and Joel are coming to town. Can they come there and film and that kind of stuff? Will you be available? That's pretty much like what you'd want to do if you're trying to host somebody like me coming to town, or maybe like JH Aquatics. I see him in the chat there. It's that's really kind of all anybody's asks, but Johan is going above and beyond. He's going to grab me from the airport because the Netherlands is probably confusing for somebody like me that doesn't speak the native tongue. And by the way, I was going to look this up earlier. I have no idea what is the native language in Holland.
Dutch?
Is it Dutch?
I think so.
Do we know?
Because, I mean, the Holland, Dutch.
It's probably Dutch, right?
I think so, yeah.
But either way, I don't speak it.
I could Google
I don't
it,
speak it. I don't speak it. And I will say this. I was like, oh, yeah. We're going to be out in, when we were out in Germany, was that, last year when we were in Germany, it was like, oh, yeah, I'm not worried about it. There's probably a lot of people that speak English in Germany. It's not a big deal. I found myself in at least 10 situations that were like, have no grasp of this language. Other than like having known, having like studied Latin and stuff. Like I could read signs and kind of be like, all right, let me figure out what the heck is going on with this. Okay, kind of know where I might be, maybe.
Right.
But
it's harder when the letters aren't the same alphabet that we're used to.
Right. Like, what's this umlaut doing here?
Right.
What does that mean?
How do you pronounce that?
What's the deal? Yeah. So Alana says Dutch. Yes. Thank you, power of the internet. Sometimes you just got to ask. Warren Williams says hyped for the Johan's fish room tour. Yeah, me too. I'm hyped for that whole experience. And by the way, speaking, a lot of people are asking if I was going to go to some of the American conventions, and I'm going to be just like brutally honest with you guys. Like, I don't see the value considering how much more expensive it is to go to the American ones. Right? Like, I booked all of the stuff to go to Europe to go to the convention, right?
Yeah.
It's like half the price of going to the aquatic experience.
Really?
Uh-huh.
How much is the aquatic experience?
Last time I went, it was about $2,200 altogether.
Holy cow.
Minus, but then also, like, I was working, but I wasn't getting paid. There's no compensation, so it was like,
You were paying to work.
I'm paying to work. I'm paying like $2,200 to work for 5 days.
Yeah.
Which, I will say, most everybody that I was there with was super generous.
Mm-hmm.
And, like people bought lunch and dinner and stuff like that, which I'm super appreciative of.
Right.
That is awesome. And thank you very much. Especially like the fish tank barn, Mike, like he would bring his van and like drive us around and stuff. I'm super appreciative of that stuff. But, you just have to take it like in brass tacks that like, I don't know that I could endorse like any of the Americans going to the American conventions if like it costs less to go to a European convention, right? Like,
I think the worst part about that would be that, you get tempted by all these cool critters that you want to bring back, and it's harder to bring them back because of international pet trade being way more expensive, or
actually
more difficult, I should say.
It's the exact same amount of difficulty.
Really?
You have to bring it carry on, declare it, and
sign some form.
Well, you just have to declare it, and then when you get into the States, the Fish and Wildlife will identify what it is that you brought.
Oh.
So if you were like, oh, I've got some apistogramma here, right? Mm-hmm. You would declare, and you bring it in your carry-on. Don't check it. Not a good idea. You can't do that.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. No, because I wouldn't want them to get frozen like those tissue cultures.
That may or may not have been me, which was me. It may have been. Yeah, they got a little frosty.
I remember things.
But, I forget what airline was I with. If you fly Alaska, and I'm not verifying or denying anything about Alaska's check bag hold, but their check bag hold doesn't freeze. But I think it was Delta I was on. Their check bags are frozen. And I don't know if it's like that's what they're supposed to do or not. Either way, don't check it because I know for a fact on an international flight that could land you in jail if you check a species coming into the country, because they just assume that you're bringing in something you're not supposed to.
Right.
So anyhow, you bring it in the carry-on, you declare it, and then Fish and Wildlife will check it out and give you the yes or no. Now, I'm not 100% what happens if they say no, because we've never been declined. We've never been declined before. I don't know what they do with them. I can't imagine it's a good outcome if they're like, nah, you can't have that species here.
Right.
So, you do run a little bit of a risk, but I would say if you're bringing back stuff that's identifiable, like I wouldn't necessarily bring something that's like, oh, no one has ever seen this magical unicorn fish from space. Like, I don't know that I wouldn't bring that back because Fish and Wildlife would be like, we can't identify what this is, right?
Right.
But, like, Corey brought back a ton of guppies last time we were in Europe. The only hiccup we had was, so we had a connecting flight. So we landed in Denver, and then we had to go, but we had, like, a 45-minute layover or maybe, like, an hour and 5 minutes. It was either 45 minutes or 65 minutes. I can't remember which one it was, but we had to go like land, get off the plane, go to the bathroom, and run to the next terminal, right? And then on an international flight, you have to check in. You basically like have to get your, what is it you have to get? Some stupid connecting thing that you have to go over to the luggage thing and let them know that you didn't die or something. I'm not 100%, but you have to go to this area, check with them, then go to your terminal and get on your connecting flight, right? When you land from an international flight. And I forget exactly what it was, but I know it has to do with the luggage, whatever. And so we're over there doing that, and then so Corey is like, yeah, I've got all this box of fish. And they're like, yeah, okay, you have to stay in here. So I'm like, I go and I check through. And they're like, yeah, you're fine. Just go. And I'm like, okay. But my guy, he's over there. And they're like, no, you can't come back through here. You have to go away now. That's how This works. You have to go away. Don't be here anymore, right? So I'm like, okay, well, what are you guys doing with Corey? He's in there. You know, of course, they don't know who Corey is, but they're just like, no, sir. Go to your terminal. Get out of here. And I'm like, okay, well, I think they have Corey in a box or something. I think they're gonna keep him. They're gonna keep him permanently.
In a people aquarium.
In a peeplarium. So I'm like, I can't get back over there or anything. So then I'm like texting him like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I have to check this fish. And I'm like, you know, because it's like the clock's just ticking, tick, 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 right? And eventually it gets to the point where like, dude, there's 10 minutes and our flight's going to take off from here and go to Seattle and we're not going to be on it, right? So we just had to leave the box of fish there. And because they were like, oh, Fish and Wildlife isn't here, right?
Yeah.
And so then Fish and Wildlife came in the next day, and then they airmailed them same day from Denver to SeaTac, and they had to pick them up. And I forget what it was, but it was just like crazy amount of money by the time you got to the end of it. They're like, these fish were so expensive and pretty stressful, you know, to get the whole rigmarole figured out with that situation. So it happened and it worked out. But to that point, that if you were going to bring like some guppies like that back to the U.S., you just want to make sure that you don't have that connecting flight because they'll get hung up on whatever connecting flight you're at unless Fish and Wildlife is actually there, can check it out and be like, oh, yeah, that's guppy fish. It's fine. Those are legal in the U.S., so it's not a problem. Speaking of the Patreon, we got 2 brand new Patreons.
Oh, nice.
Patreonizers during the show, guys. What's up, Alyssa?
What's up, Joel?
What's up now? We go back up 2. We got
Nice.
Ryan M. and Anna Lee. Anna Lee became a Patreon.
Yay.
Which means we might see some new faces over on the old Discord there. One of the things is that if you come onto the Patreon, it should automatically link you to the Discord, and then you'll be able to have Discord access and be able to do like, you know, cool stuff. Like Big D Smoke just posted in there the welcome back, Mr. Welcome back, Mr. Cotter, you know? Remember that?
Yes.
Are you old enough to remember that?
I didn't actually watch it, but I'm very familiar with the intro song,
Welcome
theme song.
back. Yeah. Welcome. Oh, we just got like copyright strike for a
I
bad
heard that they're
impersonation.
not going to let that happen as much
They
anymore.
are.
I just got sent.
Yeah.
Now YouTube sends me emails.
Yeah, they send out a giant email that's like, "Oh, we fixed that. Don't worry about that. It's totally fixed now." And then you get copyright claims from like other bands that don't even have anything to do with what you uploaded or not. It's like I have copyright claims on my channel from bands that aren't. It's not even the band that plays that song.
Oh.
It's literally, and it's not even. It's not a cover song or anything like that. It's like, oh, it's in the same tempo. So that's our song. And you're like, okay, well, let me go listen to the song that you're claiming that it is, right?
Is that
And you're like, this is not
remotely
even remotely the same song. You're
like
okay.
that Vanilla Ice Ice Baby versus what was the other one from Queen?
Well, that's a cover.
No, but it's not. They just stole the intro tempo.
No.
Do.
They stole the music part
Yeah.
of the song. So, yes, that's a cover. Just because you're technically singing the lyrics wrong doesn't mean that you haven't stolen the music. But I'm just saying, like,
It's a Weird Al.
I'm just saying, like, 2 completely different bands. It's like, this isn't even the same song at all. It's not a cover. It's not associated. Like, the notes aren't even the same. Like, maybe it's in the same, like, key
Right.
and tempo, but like that's basically it. I don't know, but either way, it's kind of ridiculous. Let's see. At Ryan Milling, What's going on in the chat here?
Oh, Ryan is wondering how you become a member on the via YouTube in order to get a green name like Annalie and so many other people.
Oh, yeah, you guys will notice in the chat you get the green name if you become a member on the YouTube platform.
By pressing the join button.
There's a bright blue join button somewhere, and if you're on an iPhone, it's apparently hard to find. But if you check in the description underneath the video, you'll see a link there that'll be able to take you to joining if you like. And the reason for that is that YouTube allowed my channel here to get into that program before we hit the X amount of however many subscribers they wanted. I think at the time they
30,
wanted
000?
I think at the time, 30 or 50,000 is what you're supposed to have. We're short of 25, so we're like 24,000 or something like that. But because I've been around for a super long time, they were like, oh, okay, we'll kind of grandfather this channel in or whatever. I have like over 1,000 videos up. It's like, am I suddenly going to just fly off the handle because we have 80 members? So last time I checked, we have like 80 members, and so the hope is with that we'll be able to get some respect from YouTube and maybe get some videos promoted. But most of my videos get suppressed for whatever reason. So whatever, it doesn't matter at this point because we got a close-knit community here and we just keep rocking and rolling. Yeah. Yes. Speaking of that, we want to try and continue growing our little community here, and that the makerspace, if you guys aren't familiar with what the makerspace is, we're basically trying to get a public space that we'll be able to set up tanks in and stuff like that and be able to do more videos and things of that nature. But that seems to be a long ways down the line because, hey, but I guess I have to put it out there so that people know what the F it is I'm talking about, right? If they're like, what is this makerspace this guy's talking about? Basically want to set up like 10 decent sized tanks, have them kind of isolated so that we can film and that kind of stuff and do aquascaping, what do you call that, demos? Demonstrations, there we go.
I do like aquascaping demos.
Somehow
I have that much attention span that I can watch that happen.
Yeah, we want to have a couple of sandbox tanks and stuff like that are basically like, oh, here's how you hardscape. Here's some plants you could think about, blah, blah, blah. People get good ideas about, maybe they want, maybe they got a bunch of dragonstone and they're super confused and you're like, and you'd be able to pop on and take a look at some demonstrations and get some ideas on, how some driftwood works together and things like that. Is one of the biggest problems is that a lot of people are, because this is a hobby, that a lot of people are like, dude, I don't have any money to do this or to do that. So I think one of the great things about YouTube is you're able to go on and get a real idea about what you want to do before you spend the money. That's like honestly what it comes down to. It's like, oh man, I don't know. Like I have $300 saved up, but I don't want to just throw it out there and you're not sure what you're going to get or if it's going to be the thing that you want or, long term, you might have bought some plants that you really like before they're grown in all the way. You know what I mean? You
like them better before they've converted from submerged to immersed or whatever.
From immersed to submerged?
Yeah.
Like you liked them at the store, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I've run into so many times. Like
I like them in the tube.
Yeah, people will go, it's like you like it in the tube a lot. And you're like, oh, that's perfect. I really like that. And then you get it home and, you don't know that it came from a farm.
Right.
And the farm grew everything above water, which is fine. It's a great way to grow plants.
That's a good question. Warren asks, what's the dollar amount on Patreon that makes the makerspace possible?
Oh, it is one of our goals on there. And currently right now, if you guys don't know, I live in one of the... I and Alyssa, we both live in one of the most expensive areas in the world, honestly. It's one of the most expensive areas in the United States. So that puts it pretty high up on the list, right?
Apparently we're second behind San Francisco.
Oy!
We've beat out New York.
We've beat New York for expensive. That is not necessarily a good thing. Long term, it's a good thing because Vicky and I being, property owners and that kind of stuff, it's a good thing as an investment for the future, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. In the next couple of years, Vicky and I will be moving somewhere more affordable. That is something that is 100.
Salud.
How's that for manners? I sneezed right into my sneeze rag. Not into Alyssa's face.
That's good. I don't need to bring germs home.
It's a good point, right?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Vicky was sick.
Yeah.
Like Monday, Tuesday. So she shouldn't be contagious by now. But now we found out that the baby's not.
Yeah, the
feeling
baby's
it.
sick.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hard weekend. Anyhow.
Hey, Ryan's a member. Welcome, Ryan.
Ryan M. became a member. Oh, congratulations, my friend.
He wants those emojis. He wants that green name.
You got that. Hey, you got to. Hey,
that's why I joined.
I respect that. One of the funny things is, and never mind. I'm not going to tell you why I can't have a green name. I'll find out if I can tell you guys.
Okay.
Later.
Later?
But not right now. But I do have my fly swatter here, just in case if I see that fly. It's going to be a fly murder. What the heck were we talking about? Oh, it's super expensive here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's extremely expensive in Western Washington right now. So some people will look at the number on Patreon and be like, oh, wow, $6,500 a month? Whoa, that's a lot. But that is kind of the number that we're at right now to be able for me to go, all right, I can dedicate, 2 and 3 days a week of my work. We'll be able to pay rent, be able to pay our insurance, keep the lights on, water, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. A lot of the equipment and things like that will hopefully come through in sponsorships. Not all of it. Obviously, we're still going to have to purchase a bunch of things just because some companies are like, yeah, we're not going to sponsor because we don't want to. And you're like, okay, whatever. Yeah, so that's kind of the number that we're at because I found some places that were kind of cheaper, but it definitely felt like somebody was going to get stabbed outside, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sort of rough areas with no parking and no street lights and no real access or anything like that. So, I priced out a few areas and a few spaces that would make sense in the, 1,200 to 1,300 square foot realm, which isn't huge, but it's also not too small to get people in there. That's just kind of what it's going to work out to do. So we can be able to dedicate some days and things like that. Otherwise, I'm realistically going to have to, what's the word?
I don't know.
Just work my regular job on those days. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh, yeah, work stuff. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, kind of the goal isn't for me to necessarily be 100% that be my only job because, as you guys know, I'm an independent contractor, and I also do work with, like, Aquarium Co-op and stuff like that. So it's a great collaboration to keep working on that project. Also, even though the commute is a complete and utter... Have you guys ever seen Dune? Dune? Have you ever seen Dune or read the book? And they're like, it's all the Muad'Dib, like, you got to, like, bend space with your mind kind of deal.
Yeah.
Right? It's driving up there makes me
During
feel like...
rush hour?
Yeah. Makes me feel like I'm trying to learn how to use the Muad'Dib gun thing, right? Your name is a killing name. Right? So it's a little bit... It's one of those kind of situations. I spent 4.5 hours driving yesterday. Mm-hmm. In slow traffic. It's not like I was on the freeway. I mean, I was on the freeway, It's not like I was going somewhere. I was just there, hanging. And people were like honking.
Right.
Being sad.
Driving their Audi whatevers.
Yeah, there's some guy in a white Audi who's just like pulling douche moves all over the place. Like, oh, come on. Like, I get it, man. You're driving a $90,000 Audi. That doesn't mean you change lanes 400 times.
Right.
It's ridiculous. But let's get to our Patreon posts of the week, right?
Yes.
Let's get to these. Okay. So our first Patreon post of the week, of the month, of the year, of September, today, the 6th. I'm like the most annoying person in the world. Anyhow, it comes from Fish Keeperist, and it's literally stickers of me. It feels pretty vain to start on this one, but that's literally like the last one we have not posted on the show. But as you guys know, I've been working with a really cool artist recently, and by the way, overseas. So I am not spending a ridiculous amount of money. I'm spending what I would consider to be a pretty conservative amount of money on getting some art done. We lost our old illustrator. Our old illustrator was like, I'm just too busy for this nonsense, so I'm not going to do that anymore, without really communicating that, and then sort of just disappearing for a long time, and then you have to bother them by like texting them, and then they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, and then a week and a half goes by, and then you text them again, like, and oh, I'm totally doing that. I'm super busy. Oh, yeah, and then it just never happens. Anyhow, we have a new artist, very reasonably priced. I'm not going to promote this artist because I already promoted this artist a little bit, and now they're getting super busy. Which is almost like, come on now. Damn it.
Too much work.
But it's good. It's good stuff. But found this artist off of Fiverr, so if you guys want to go on to Fiverr and look around, there are some good artists there that do some good work. That is for certain. And Fish Keepers made these into stickers, and now I'm wondering if I should recruit the Fish Keepers to make stickers for the channel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because those look really good.
Those look really quality. I have to admit.
I would totally put those on my fish transportation device, a.k.a. my cooler.
Your cooler?
Yeah, my cooler.
But not your sweet car?
No.
Ah.
I don't sticker my car.
That was a straight no. Did you guys hear that? Did you put that sticker on your car? No. Yeah?
No.
You going for it?
Mm-mm.
Just going big?
No.
Stickers all over your car.
But you know what would be really fun? Is if you got like a actual person head size copy of this and just like had it on a stick in the back side window, so people would occasionally see it and just like freak out while you're driving.
You could just be like, ooh.
Yep.
Like that?
Yeah.
Like this, like on a fly swatter?
Yeah.
That would probably work.
Yeah.
You can impersonate me while driving around.
Right. Or
in your
because
sweet Audi.
Because my car has one of them rear windshield wiper things.
Oh yeah.
That attach
actually,
it to it.
would...
Oh, you guys can't see that. I'm doing this.
Oh. Okay, that's a good idea. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but that's a good idea. I like it.
It's fun, and it can make you giggle when you're driving.
That's a pretty good point. We got a brand new member to the old Patreon here on August 25th. Justin Coombs became a Patreon and joined the Discord, which, hey, thanks for joining up.
Yeah, you can hang out with the rest of us.
Yep. And Justin Coombs has some pretty good stuff dropping on the old Discord and whatnot. Definitely enjoy having conversations. Says, howdy, everyone. Just signed up and wanted to say hello. I used to be quite active in the hashtag Fish Fam back in 221-7er. Just getting back into the hobby and wanted to show my support to one of my favorite creators, which, thanks, Justin. Mad props. And I want to stay on this post also, but it feels super vain to stay on there because it's literally like talking about me, and we got fish stuff.
Yeah.
Which, Rumbust. I really hope I get to meet Rumbust when I'm out there in the Europes.
That would be awesome.
Because Rumbust always, like, if you guys don't know, been super supportive of the channel, been super supportive of, where did that go? There's a new button here now. He's been super supportive of my sobriety. If you don't know, when the stream starts, he almost always throws up the Swedish Krones 1942. Swedish Krones.
Is that where we are now?
Stands for how many days I've been sober. 1,940 dose.
42 no?
Two no. No. 42. Yeah? Did you die?
Yeah, a little bit.
What happened? What happened?
It was the laughter. Okay, I'm back.
What happened, America?
I am now a zombie.
Uh-oh. MD Fish Tanks wonders, I should know this, but how do I sign up? Uh-oh. Somebody better drop the old... 54 Punchy dropped it right there into the chat. There's the link. MD Fish Tank says... Where did it go? Hey, Joel, love your channel and have for ages. You made me want bigger tanks. Well, that's good. Thank you. And let's get back to our post here from Rumbust. As I mentioned, he's always been super supportive, and I love his posts. He's got some great stuff. He's got a great avatar, and he says, not sure how this will pan out, but for the time being, the Ancestress Fry take care of our angel eggs. The angels have a hard time keeping their eggs safe. They usually last about a day, so no real loss if they get eaten. Anyone else use Ancestress Fry to keep the eggs clean? The twig is an alder with a few cones attached. Dumped a bunch of alder cones in there to improve the odds. Oh, yeah, so that makes sense. That's a little alder twig back there. We got some Ancestress Fry. Look at those. Look at those little busters.
They're so cute.
Yeah. Has anybody ever tried this before?
Not me. I have bad experience with angels and bristle noses.
Here's the explanation right here. Up in the post. Followed a couple of days later with angel eggs and Ancestress Fry. That'd be a no. 'Cause that's the same leaf and the same twig. And the Ancestress Fry minus the huevos.
With
we
their
no longer have
big old fat Ancestress tummies.
the huevos de pescado anymore.
Yeah.
No more?
Probably very delicious.
I would guess that's pretty much like probably their favorite food if they get a chance. If they get a chance to eat them.
They're like, what? Protein? This is amazing.
And speaking of, yeah, exactly. It's like pure protein laid out here on the little leaf plate for me to eat.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's delicious.
We have the dining. We're down here at the dining table eating some fresh fish eggs. Yeah, and shout out to Ryan Melling for becoming a new member today. I know that Alyssa.
Yeah.
You mentioned they became a member.
Uh-huh.
I'm acknowledging it also.
Hooray.
So we both have. Congratulations. We've won 0 contests. But Johan sends us in amazing colors for his second day in the tank. We got a little ram action here.
That is amazing.
It's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Although I'm not that surprised because I would say almost all of the fish that I saw in Europe for sale looked great. They really did. I mean, it's not like you go to Europe and go around in the fish stores and see dead fish or dirty tanks or any of that kind of stuff. Their stores are really well maintained. So that's another reason why I want to go. I'm going back to Europe to film that kind of stuff, to give more of the Americans, the American market. Can't really comment to many other markets, but let the Americans kind of know, like, oh, that's where we should be heading. Like, maybe there's a goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got there?
I just think that in the U.S. we don't value. I don't think we value pets and animals in the same way.
We don't even value humans here properly.
Right. True.
Right.
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 I'm going to be honest here, guys. There's a lot of people out there that don't really think it's that important to value other humans. It's becoming more and more apparent over the last couple of years. And people like to call me, what do they like to call me? Libtard, stuff like that. Which...
and other less kind things?
I wouldn't even necessarily call myself a liberal. I wouldn't call myself a libertarian. I wouldn't call myself a Republican or a Democrat or any of that nonsense. I'm not in any of those groups. I address specific topics when a specific topic is brought up. You know, I'm not somebody who shies away from any of the conversations, whether it be women's reproductive rights, immigration, welfare, any of that kind of stuff. The military-industrial complex, which has been crushing this country for a really long time, and we can't afford to have nice fish stores because we've spent so much money on missiles and bombs, right?
Right.
Right? I mean, you go to Germany, they have super nice fish stores. Why do you think that is?
Because they care?
Rammstein, right?
Yes.
The giant military complex from the United States that's there. Rammstein, right? Hello. So, it's really one of those things. Like, I think in the United States, we're way behind. We're way behind the fact that, you go into Europe. If you're selling unhealthy animals, the person that's selling unhealthy animals can be prosecuted. It's against the law.
Yeah. Like, you take home some fish and it's got ick all over it, and now every other fish that you have, because you for some reason don't have a quarantine. But like in America, you have to have a quarantine tank, otherwise.
Yeah, if you're a hobbyist at your house,
yeah,
you better have a quarantine tank.
Mm-hmm.
It's really one of those things that if you're an American, you better have a quarantine tank. You better spend some more money to do what should have already been done by the people that are taking care of these animals before you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you would necessarily go over to someone's house that was like where all the fish were sick, where everything was all screwed up, right? And then buy stuff from them. Like, here's money. Let me reward you for terrible animal husbandry, right?
Right.
Like, you're not taking care of your animals. Well, let me give you money as a reward. What? How does that make any sense?
Let's just reward fish abuse.
Right? Like, it's nonsense. Now, I'm not saying that we should increase our prison population over 2 million that are already in there right now, which is insane.
Yeah.
Did you know, like, Illinois had to overturn 880,000 drug convictions because marijuana is like legal there now?
Honestly, I'm glad that they did.
880,000.
But that's a lot of people
in just one state.
Mm-hmm.
These criminals. Like, you guys know, I just mentioned earlier I'm sober, yet why do I think that people should be being prosecuted for marijuana, right? Like, I listened to a whole Joe Rogan podcast the other day about the illegal marijuana grow ops, right? They're finding down in California.
There's still illegal ones?
Of course.
Oh.
It's
Well, I
still
suppose
illegal
it's
in a
kinda
bunch
like-
of states.
I suppose it's kind of like, working under the table and not declaring your income.
No, it's still illegal in a bunch of states.
Yeah, but if it's in California, isn't it legal there?
Yeah, so you illegally grow it there to be shipped into another state.
Huh.
Because it's only a misdemeanor.
Okay.
So you go on federal land and grow it, right? Illegally. And then sell it in a state where it's illegal still.
Okay. Well,
It's a shorter trip,
then, yeah.
right? Because you just buy all the seeds and stuff legally in California and then just walk it out to the woods, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, not to get like totally sidebarred here, but the whole reason we brought it up is that we've been prosecuting all these people for like marijuana, yet we don't prosecute people for just like owning a garbage store that has a bunch of that has a whole bunch of, fish and shrimp and stuff like that all dying in it.
Yeah.
Like the Petco. Like you go to Petco and you're just like, what is going on in this? This is like Thunderdome in here. Like, is this post-apocalyptic? I mean, sometimes you go into a Petco and you're like, oh, hey, it's like a regular store, right? Like, how does that even make any sense?
I feel like a lot of the Petcos around here are good, more or less.
I would say.
Mostly because there's so much competition, and if one Petco is bad, you can literally drive for 10 minutes and go to another Petco.
And go to another one.
Yeah, it's almost like Starbucks. There's almost as many Petcos and Smarts out here as there are Starbuckses. It's so easy to find them.
There's a lot of pet stores here.
Yeah, I don't know who I was talking to, but I was like, no, seriously, I could just travel around to every Petco if I needed to. Like, if I needed to get, like, $100 per gallon, 10-gallon tanks,
Well, they'll be sold out, but yeah.
Right,
I
but
get
I
what
could
you're
just
saying.
keep traveling to each one and be like, no, hold them for me. I'll be right there.
Yeah, I need 9 more.
Right.
Real bad.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, but that would take me hours and hours. Like, nah, but here's my map and here's all the Petcos.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
within...
I mean, and that's kind of like one of the funny things is like, I forget who it was. One of the really high up guys at one of the really big companies. Like, even if I remember specifically who it is, I wouldn't mention it anyhow. But they wanted to bring in higher quality aquariums than you would see in the U.S. Right? And they went and they were looking at the numbers of like how many of the crappy $1 per gallon tanks are made, right? And they have like a standing inventory of like 110,000, and that's how many they make every week.
Wow.
In the U.S. In the U.S. alone, just for the U.S. market, basically, they're making that many of those like super janky $1 per gallon tanks, and then you wonder why it's like, I tried to drill this thing and it exploded. Like they said it wasn't tempered, but I don't even think they really know half the time what they're selling anyhow. But yeah, out here there's so many pet stores and stuff like that like if you went to one that was crummy, you just drive 5 minutes and go to another one. So and then I think on the other side of the coin, if you go out to like, let's pick a town that's out there a little bit.
Foston, Minnesota.
Foston, Minnesota. I don't know where Foston, Minnesota is. If it's near Shakopee.
No.
Is it near?
No, it's
What's it near?
right on the border of North Dakota on Highway 2, kind of up north in the Red River Valley area.
North Dakota? How'd that go?
North Dakota?
North Dakota.
No, North Dakota.
Nah.
You only
Dakota.
pronounce the N-O-R. North Dakota.
North.
That's how you say it.
North Dakota.
Nah, you're doing it wrong. That's okay. I'll do it.
Oh.
North Dakota.
No, I wasn't really making fun of your accent. I was just making fun of North Dakota. But there's going to be a lot of people now that are super mad at me. Like 8 people that live in North Dakota are going to be super mad now. Total population, 12 people.
Mm-hmm. And half of those are my family.
In North Dakota.
Yeah. If you're from Boston and pronouncing it, yeah.
Yeah. I'm from space. I'm from the moon.
Clearly.
No, I can't trick any of you guys. You're too smart. Oh, from Earth. So let's see. Fasten. What was it? Fasten?
Yep, Boston.
Fasten. That's why I was making fun of it, because it sounds like Boston.
I know.
Fasten, North Dakota. So you go out there.
Minnesota. It's just on the border to North Dakota is all.
Is it half and half? Is it one of those
No.
half and half cities?
No, it's like clearly on the Minnesota side,
Okay.
but it's like
Like
a
the,
10-minute drive to North Dakota from
like
there.
the lawns mowed, the grass is green.
Nah, there's like farmland in between.
It's
The
all
state.
farmy.
Yeah.
They got them picket fences.
Yeah. I know that's where my mom grew up.
Oh, out on that end?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
been there a lot. There's people there who look at me and go, "Wait, whose kid are you?"
Whose child?
Yeah. And then I'll say, and then they'll be like, "Oh, how is she doing? How's her sister so and so doing?" Etc. Etc. And I'm like, "All right, yeah, you know who I am."
Random strangers in town.
Yeah, townies.
Townies.
I could
trust 'em.
move there and do just fine. I'm not going to though.
You could move there and do just fine.
Yep,
That
because
is-
everybody would know me,
Oh,
but only because they know where my family history.
they'd be like, "You better come into our house because we know you."
Right.
Lo and behold, they find out that you're like that character from that show.
That one. The one with the face?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
You're like that guy.
Oh, yeah.
That guy, Mr. What is it, Mr. White
I don't
or
know.
something like that? No, Mr. White's from Reservoir Dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did he go by in Breaking Bad?
I have no idea.
I think he had a name.
I actually have never seen Breaking Bad.
I watched I've seen like a bunch of bits and pieces of it, and it's in my mind because like there's a movie coming out, and I'm probably gonna watch it. Ooh, speaking of movies that came out, hold on, I don't know. Talk about your North Dakota experience for a second. I gotta look this up.
Oh, okay.
Where'd that go?
Most of the time, if I was in North Dakota, I was just driving across it in order to get to Montana and drive really fast.
What was this called? Oh, you just driving on the flat as fast as possible.
Yeah, which one time...
Did you get a tailwind going?
No, the best one was when I was there, and it was in the middle of winter.
Alyssa, we only have 61 people watching. We're not very popular anymore. We went on vacation, and now we're not popular anymore.
That's okay. Too many people, and I get stressed out.
All right, I like that. We're just going to go with that.
Yeah.
Hey, too many people in here? Stressing me out.
Yep.
Get out of here. Anyhow, so you were driving across.
Right. And it was the middle of the night, and it was a full moon, and it was winter, so of course there was snow everywhere, because that actually happens there. And the way that the weather was, it was all foggy on the ground, but since the road was raised, the road was just above the fog level.
Mm-hmm.
And it was legitimately like you were driving in the clouds or over the clouds, like you were flying, which was probably the coolest driving experience I ever had. And also the most terrifying because I couldn't tell if there was deer.
Oh. Is there deers here?
Right.
Do we know?
I did not see any deer, but I did see there was it looked like a rock in the road, and then
Yeah.
it sprouted wings and flew away, and I realized that it was actually a barn owl.
Okay.
And so that was pretty trippy. And it was like 3 a.m, and I had been driving all day like a weird college kid, just sort of not sleeping and driving forever. I don't know. For whatever reason, I was going to Great Falls, Montana, and it was like, no, I'm not going to stop. Just going to keep going.
Oh, there it is. Walter White.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mr. White. It was Walter White. Who got it first? John Gonzalez got it right. Right out the gate. Well, thank you. So the thing I was looking up while you were talking about your barn owl experience in North Dakota.
Hey, it was a really important story and totally fish related.
Did he bite you or try to eat a mouse or what?
No, he just flew away so he didn't get run over by my car.
Oh, okay.
Which was really smart of him.
So I just posted in the chat right there this trailer that I watched earlier for a movie called Fast Color.
Neat.
And I don't know if anybody has seen that or not. I think it got like snubbed by the promotion companies that normally promote movies for whatever reason. It looked really interesting. Superhero movie, and I haven't seen it yet. But it popped into my head that I was like, oh, am I going to watch whatever the other movie was? The Breaking Bad one. And then I was like, oh, but this is on my list to watch. And then Mindhunter. I don't know if you guys have seen that yet. Season 2 is out, and it's creepy as all get out and weird. So,
I don't know.
yeah, check
Justin
that
keeps
stuff out
wanting me to see that.
if you get a chance. Preston John sends this in, the Well Nye Scientist, which I'm confused. In the spirit of testing eggs, trying out a new egg tumbler with the latest batch of 50 beta macrostoma huevos. My male was going to starve himself to death if I let him hatch another clutch with a skull and crossbones. Which, that's how you know it's serious. When you get that pirate life going, you know it's about to get serious.
Time to separate him from that lady.
yeah, it's time to swap him into another tank. You know, when
give him a little vacation.
You know, when we were breeding betas back in the day, I would separate them like 99% of the time. I'm not saying I had a perfect track record. I'm just saying like that was definitely the goal. And male or female, I would normally give them a good amount of time to heal up before they're really doing anything else. And if the males happen to be mouth brooders, then I would normally just let them chill for, like 3 weeks, month, something like that. Let them
get some fat back on them.
Yeah, put on some weight, get tough, get ready for the big fight that's coming up. We got this from the Hex Tank Apostate.
Oh, he's no longer the apologist.
He's no longer the apologist anymore. Now he's become the apostate, or she. Still don't know if it's male or female.
That's true.
It's a mysterious avatar type situation, which I think most of us are entertained by.
Yes.
Because a Dwight Schrute avatar does not delineate much, because, as we know, identity theft is a crime.
Yes.
Right?
Fact.
Fact. Bears, beats,
sharks,
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so we got this post here of another Hex Tank asking, what should I do with this? And I've never really been jealous of anybody's Hex Tank obsession until the Hex Tank, now currently no longer apologizing, but now the apostate, comes along and just really pushing the Hex Tank game here. And I appreciate it. Pushes me out of my, I know what I'm doing next week kind of situation. I might do a Hex Tank next week. Who knows? But it really wasn't on my list of to-dos until we're constantly reminded about the beautiful Hex Tanks. And I feel like one of the downsides with a Hex Tank is that I would definitely end up clumping my aquascape in the middle and making it kind of almost all of them an island type situation.
Yeah. I have a Hex Tank, actually, just sitting in a...
You going to apologize about it?
No. It's just sitting in my closet, empty.
It's just sitting there?
Just sitting there.
Should drop this off.
It's this acrylic Hex Tank that I picked up somewhere for $20 and...
Never did anything with it?
I did for a little while. I tried to do the island / mountain / volcano, whatever, in the middle. And then I decided that I would rather have, cubes and rectangles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cubes. Rectangles.
Yes.
I'm more familiar with these shapes and a building block to the future.
Well, it's mostly because there's fewer broken viewing panes.
Yeah, it's me and the bow front thing. It distorts it so much that I just can't take it.
Yeah, and I keep thinking like, oh man, you know what I could do is I could do like an over tank sump or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Turn that into it, and I'd get all these ideas, and then I go, some other time I'll just put this thing in the closet, and that's where it is now.
Right.
In the closet.
Well, you better get to setting it up. You know what's funny? Speaking of new tanks, you have a new tank coming, right?
I do, eventually, at some point. I don't know when, though. I just put down the deposit, and the guy has got so much work to do. I was like, and so it's just going to happen whenever? And he said, yep. And I said, okay, that's cool. The fish that I am going to put into it, they're not in danger of dying or anything. So
how much was it?
It's going to run me...
What size is it?
It's a 60-gallon cube.
Mm-hmm. 24.
Yeah, and it's going to have... it's going to get like a overflow and plumbed for a sump. He said that he'll help me figure out how to do the sump so that it doesn't explode all over my carpet.
Okay.
Which is my previous experience with a sump, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Which is why I'm always so hesitant to do a sump. I'm like, I don't want it to explode all over my carpet again in the middle of the night.
Uh-huh. I got to figure out something to do with my 60 cube.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know yet. It's got the reef in it. I haven't made up my mind.
Yeah. Oh, so it's not cheap. It's like $500 or something.
Ooh, baller.
Yeah.
You could have put that towards a new camera.
I coulda.
I feel like I need to take a nap. Alyssa, take over. I got to take a nap.
All right. The next post here is from Cynthia YIA Crazy, which I'm pretty sure is Yes, I Am Crazy.
What?
This is only aquarium adjacent. I'm putting up a gladiator rack in my basement, which every year or so will get wet from a rainstorm. We have a sump, so the water only just barely gets the concrete wet. Someone suggested spraying the metal with a silicone spray. Is this enough protection for the metal, or is there a better spray to use to coat the feet of the rack? And then I commented on it and suggested WD-40 would also work because water displacement 40, or like Rain-X or something like that. But it's possible. That's just what I would do. It works well on glass shower doors too. So yeah.
Oh, so you use WD-40 on glass shower doors to keep them from
getting soap scum all over it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you use WD-40, WD-40 will also dissolve the current soap scum.
Sorry, WD.
Yeah. And then you just
WD-40.
use a squeegee religiously, and then after a little while you just have to reapply it.
How long does it last? 100 years?
No, about a month.
1 month?
Yep.
Oh my. I'm gonna have to start spraying our shower down with WD-40.
Oh, not the shower, a glass shower door.
You heard me.
I did.
I'm spraying that shower down with WD-40.
Because you could end up with a slip-fall situation going on if you just do your whole shower.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's WD-40, man. It's slippery.
Ooh, Big D Smoke says he's seen a 150-gallon acrylic cube for sale in Kent for $1,100. It's a lot of money, guys.
It is a lot of money, and that is really cool. I don't have enough space for that big a cube.
150? Mm-hmm. God, look. I've succumbed to the yawns. Kicked in. I'm low energy, guys. I'm low energy. I'm dying.
Oh, Ohana did not know that it was called water displacement 40, and now you do. And guys, knowing is half the battle.
I'm dying. I'm dying. Water displacement 40?
Yeah.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah.
You guys are so much smarter than me.
Am I the only one who knew that?
Water displacement. Coming attack now. Oh, I fell asleep. What happened?
You fell asleep singing. You were sleep singing.
Oh, sleep singing. That
Yep.
always happens. That always happens, and then Olivia and Vicky get super mad.
Yeah, I can imagine. They're probably
'Cause
just
I'm like,
like, oh man, we got to get some.
Right? Is that how it goes?
I can't even imagine.
I completely made that up. That's not how it goes.
But
I do wake up in the middle of the night and freak out Vicky a lot. Because I'll be all like, right, this is the part where I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Ghosts!
Oh, man. No
Did I
wonder
get
she
you?
got sick.
Did I get you?
No.
Damn it. This post is from Johan. I can't wait to go to Johan's house. We're going to have so much fun. And by the way, thank you, Johan, for your super chat. I forgot to mention anything about it. Thank you for the €5. Ooh.
For expensive breakfast, he said.
It's not pounds. It's not dollars. It's euros. It makes it feel more dignified if it's international, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. For some expensive breakfast, that's kind of an inside situation. That was the one thing that we were pricing out that turned out was going to be kind of expensive. And it turns out breakfast at the hotel I'll be staying at was going to be €30 a day, I think.
I don't know if that's good or not. I have no idea what the exchange rate is.
It's like $40.
Nice.
For breakfast?
Oh, for breakfast?
Yeah.
That's really...
For just breakfast. We're talking about some sausage. We're talking about some eggs. We're talking about maybe a croissant. Maybe a bagel. Are bagels international? Oh, they are. Yeah, bagels. Maybe a baguette. How do you say baguette in French?
Baguette.
Oui, ha, ha, ha.
I don't know. Man, I've never taken French in my life. I
Me
can
neither.
say no.
I'm literally just making fun of a whole entire country.
And I can say oui.
But I love you guys. I love you French people. And sometimes I make fun of you because I have no idea what is going on over there. But I'll be there soon. Buy some freshwater shrimps. That'd be dope. Annalise says, gotta go in Hawaiian.
I'm assuming that's Hawaiian.
Yeah.
It looks like Hawaiian. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's got all of the vowels in it. Nonstop. So anyhow, €40 or €30 for breakfast, aka $40 every day for breakfast was going to be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, Johan, what's the deal? Is breakfast super expensive in the Netherlands, or what's the deal here? And he was like, no, it's probably like €10 to get a good breakfast. I'm like, okay. So if by any stretch of the imagination we had €30 for breakfast, he's like, oh man, we could get super fancy breakfast, like maybe on a boat or something, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they have these like little boats on the canals where they have like little hotels in them and stuff.
Nice.
I don't know, I've only seen pictures, haven't experienced it in person yet, but having grown up in Seattle, it's not that strange of a thing that you'd have stuff on boats or on the pier or on a dock or on a jetty.
Somewhere near water.
A fjord.
Near or on water.
A fjord, a canal.
Mm-hmm.
Canal. How do they say canal in North Dakota?
Canal.
What?
I know, it was really hard to understand through the thick accent, but
What?
Canal.
What? Ridiculous. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's Friday. Anyhow, Johan sends this in, and by the way, this is one of my favorite fish of all time. I put this on. This is on my list of like
fish to get.
It's not fish to get. It's just like if you could only have like a couple kinds of fish, which is something that we would always get on the Real Fish Talk constantly, which was like 5 fish, 1 tank, 4 plants, 1 tank, 1 rock, 4 tanks, 1.
Don't start that here, guys.
And I always, I always call them the blue eye forktail, like this first explanation right here. But the Pseudomogil forcatus, which is a really cool fish, and I'm going to read the little explanation here. The blue-eyed forktail rainbow fish is an excellent inhabitant for any community or planted aquarium, which I don't know how well they would do in a community tank. I've seen them get a little bit bullied. But they're pretty fast, so they can kind of deal with that kind of stuff. But I always kept them without predator fish. But yeah, I guess community tank is what that falls into, right? So like some Corys, some Ottos, and then these the forktail rainbows. Also known as the Forcata rainbow fish, it is native to the densely planted rainforest streams of the eastern Papua New Guinea. Right?
Yeah.
This fish has proven to be very adaptable in aquaria, which I can verify for that one. This rainbow fish features some of the most impressive coloration available in freshwater fish, with their gorgeous bright blue eyes being especially impressive. It has a gray to green body coloration with bright yellow edges on all of its fins, with black margins on the rear, dorsal, and tail fins. As with many fish that inhabit the middle and upper areas of the aquarium, the forktail rainbow fish is prone to jumping occasionally. A hood canopy or lower water level is recommended to ensure that this fish does not jump out of the aquarium. The only other housing requirements for this fish are clean, stable water conditions and some areas for couvrage. Is that how you say that in North Dakota? Temperature 75 to 79, a.k.a. 25 Celsius. pH neutral. Just keep it neutral. It's fine. KH 5 to 12, so a little bit harder water. Minimum tank size, 20 gallons. Yes, I would recommend like a 40 breeder if you were going to have a good amount of these fish.
Yeah.
Yep. Omnivorous. High-quality flake, freeze-dried, and frozen frozen foods, both meaty and plant-based. They're omnivores that pretty much eat just about anything. Social behavior, peaceful, schooling. Males can be somewhat aggressive in pairs, but not when kept in groups with several females. Yes, I haven't really found them to ever really be that aggressive, but their finnage and their bright blue eyes and the fact that they're easy to feed is key. Great planet aquarium fish. You can definitely get them to really, really, really just generally fun fish to keep, fun to check out, fun to be around, fun to take care of, fun, easy to feed, all that stuff. They're just cool. They're a cool fish, and if you breed them, that makes you a cool fish too. I think I pissed everybody off. A lot of people left.
I like how they have their little fins that stick up instead of down.
Alyssa, 20 people left. What happened?
Oh, it's my fault. I made a face.
It's probably my fault. I was screaming about stuff and fake sleeping. And
nobody wants to watch you fake sleeping.
Did you guys notice that I got super political earlier? I didn't even tell anybody any of them really of my opinions.
Huh.
Well, I guess I did. I did give out some opinions, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
I guess if I talk about the military-industrial complex, that's like you don't support the troops, right? Isn't that how that goes?
Basically, yeah.
You're like, oh, you guys are spending trillions of dollars on a stupid war, and it's like, you don't support the troops. What? What? What are you talking about? Why would I not? Ridic. Anyhow, our next post is from Vince Grippa, longtime supporter, first-time caller. Vince Grippa. It's not the first time he called.
No.
It's just a knee-jerk reaction that I say that. It says, found this cool little internal sump for my 3.5 gallon tank on eBay. The list is down below. I wanted to grow a small plant out of it. Any ideas? The pump I am using for this is a 200 liter an hour pump. found on eBay as well. Edit, I changed the link because I found one that includes a water pump. So, yeah, if you spin over to the Patreon and check that out, check it out. This thing is actually kind of intriguing, and to be brutally honest, I was looking around at this, and I was looking at this, and I was looking at this, and I was like, I bet it works, but for whatever reason, like, my dumb brain isn't necessarily bringing it into making sense. It just seems like two boxes with a little movable thing in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a pump driving it, and then
it just lifts water up into it, and then it runs through whatever media you put through it, and then it falls back into the tank.
You don't know.
I ordered one on Wish.
You're not Vince Grippa.
I know.
I know. You ordered one, too, and it hasn't come in yet.
No, it's taking its sweet time because it's Wish.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons I bring this up is, like, my brain kind of gets it, but not really. But I also know that there is an out that you ordered them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to see one of these in person at some point in time, and then maybe my brain will work right.
I ordered several. So if you want, you can play with one. I think I got, was it 3 or 4?
You ordered 100 of them?
No, I did not order 100 of them.
Oh.
That would have been a heck of a lot of money.
You crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That would have been crazy.
Baller.
But
you don't own an Audi, so you can't be doing that.
That's true. Yeah. I really don't, and I don't think I ever will.
Who in the chat owns an Audi?
Oh, I'm sure people do.
Who in the chat owns an Audi? Do you drive like a crazy person?
They probably don't realize they drive like a crazy person.
They probably think it's normal.
Yeah.
And yet, it's always somebody in an Audi. Right?
Yeah.
I like the car. I like people.
I'm sure it's really fun to drive.
I bet you. Looks like fun. I'm jealous.
But I bet you it's even more fun to drive if you're not in, like, Seattle.
Although I will say this, like, if somebody gave me an Audi, I would sell it and open a maker space and do fish tanks. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this next post is from somebody I don't even know.
Some crazy person.
You better read it because it's from you.
Did I even? Oh, I did. Okay.
Can you explain your post after reading the part that you wrote out?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm going to take a nap. I'll be back.
Just got 2 pairs of Epistogramma Hongsloi from the wet spot. And within an hour of removing them from the bags, they're hungry and coloring up, and I can already tell who is who, with interesting, obvious social dynamics already at play, even though they are quite little. And what there is it's there's a dominant male who's pretty obvious. You can tell because of the red belly and the fact that he's biggest. There's another male who's trying to pretend he's a female so he doesn't get all beat up. But you can tell he's a male because, again, he's got that red belly. And then the females, they have a little bit of black on the front pectoral fins, on the front of the pectoral fins. And that usually denotes female, even if they're young. And the wet spot, of course, is really good about sending correct genders. And then, like, shortly after I took all these photos, the dominant male was like, I'm just going to take both ladies. And stuck the submissive male to the back corner. And I was like, well, that's hilarious. And I took that photo, too. It was a fun time. Yeah, but that dominant male is just like, he's kind of going in between hiding in one of the caves and then, like, going out and bullying the submissive male to the back. Not actually hurting him or anything, just, like, telling him he doesn't get to do anything with these ladies. And the ladies are like, yeah, we like you best.
What happened?
Nothing really.
What happened? Yeah, that's dope. I like it. Man. I hope these start breeding.
Yeah.
And you end up with some babies.
Yeah, the last time I had Hongslois, they did breed in a community tank. And one of the reasons I really like them is that they're kind of smaller than like your Cacatoides apisto, and they have much smaller mouths, and so they don't go on murdering, killing sprees, and they can actually be housed in a community tank setting, and my endlers will still breed, which is important to me. I want those things to breed and expand and whatever. And yeah, so I'm planning on putting those guys in with my endlers and my longfin bristlenose breeding project. 75-gallon tank, lots of plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like it.
They bred the last time I had them, and then I had a CO2 accident and lost the entire colony.
You sprayed CO2 all over the place?
Yeah, it was not a good time. Just so everybody knows, if you bleach clean your CO2 diffuser and then set it back up, make sure that you're there to watch it for a little while to make sure that your bubbles per second and everything is not gonna kill everything.
Make sure it's legit, right?
Yeah, make sure it's correct. Make sure it's still set up right before you go to work.
Right. Hey. So make sure that that's correct. Do you want to read our next post, or it's the next one's the fish of the week? It's the final one.
From Johan?
From Johan. Because I've been gone for a couple weeks. I don't know if anybody noticed that. I've been gone for a couple weeks. Today's show is about 30% as many people that normally show up for it. I'm guessing that has something to do with it, having been gone for a while, and lots of people being super mad at pre-recorded live streams.
Right.
Which I did one, basically.
Right.
I did two.
Well,
I was trying to maintain the content for you guys. And it apparently infuriated a lot of people.
People get mad. It just happens.
But don't worry. If your comments and everything are still up there, don't worry. You didn't get the ban hammer. But some people definitely got the ban hammer. Just, I can't deal with it.
Yeah.
You know? Just some people where you're just like, really?
Like, that's enough.
Just like loads of F-bombs and like how I'm the worst person that's ever existed. And, you know, all I did...
Worse than Hitler?
Himmler.
Yes, Heinrich.
You know, I tried, you know, I just tried to make sure that there was content. I mean, I know we just got demonetized because you mentioned the leader of the Third Reich. So, yeah, we just got demonetized, guys.
Sorry. It's my fault.
That's okay. You want to talk about Johan's Fish of the Week?
Sure. Fish of the Week.
This is 2 in a row.
Yeah.
This is 2 in a row that I've kept.
This is
So a lot of times he posts fish that I'm like, I never kept this one, but I've seen them, and I fed them, and I changed their water, but I've never owned them. But this 2 in a row that I have owned.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Exodon paradoxus.
Mm-hmm.
The bucktooth tetra. What makes them bucktooth? Is an interesting and unique addition to the home aquarium, but it brings along various challenges that must be met for successful keeping. Most of these difficulties revolve around its nasty behavior in captivity. Ooh. The bucktooth tetra is native to the Amazon River Basin and Guyana areas. The color scheme is beautiful, a bright metallic silver base accompanied by yellow fins with orange and red tips. Throughout the body are casts of yellow, red, and green. There are also 2 large black spots, one near the middle of the body and the other at the base of the tail. That's what I like best about them because I think it's cool. When maintained under optimum water quality and good lighting, the metallic sheen of the body often reflects blue and purple iridescence. It's a hardy, unique, and ultra-aggressive species. They are capable of growing to around 6 inches It is a slow-growing species. 6 inches. That's a big fish for me.
Yep. Especially when you consider like how they're aggressive,
ultra aggressive,
and
in captivity
you wanna
specifically.
you want to have them in a school. Yeah.
So they're kind of like
A lot of fun though. Really cool.
piranhas, or how people assume piranhas are.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they're as aggressive as piranhas and stuff, but they're from the same area, so I mean, they like coexist with them and stuff. You know, I almost always like fast-moving fish from the Amazon. Probably going to be pretty aggro because that is an area that if you don't have like the ability, you'll get eaten.
Right.
You know, the Amazon just is that way. Like, if you don't have some skills, you're going to get eaten. You know. Well, it's like angelfish are from there.
They're all, once you're a shark all the way.
From your, what does that go? From your first
cigarette
Chardonnay?
to your last dying day.
From your first Chardonnay?
Yeah, sure.
From your first Chardonnay to your last Pleco eggs.
Since we're demonetized already.
Get yourself some Pleco eggs. And
Let's
eat
see.
them.
Let's
Tiny
see.
omelet.
East. Exodon paradoxus is highly adaptable to a wide range of water parameters. An ideal pH range would be roughly 6.2 to 7.4. Cool. Temperature is 73 to 82 Fahrenheit or 23 to 28 C. Large, frequent water changes are enjoyed, and the bucktooth tetra often becomes even more active after routine maintenance. A lot of my fish do, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
The bucktooth tetra is not a picky eater in captivity and will accept various foods such as brine shrimp, mysis shrimp, bloodworms, chopped earthworms, beef heart, cut fish fillet, as well as flake and pellet foods to balance out nutrition. You know what's kind of cool?
What's that?
Is that they actually accept beef heart. None of my fish accept beef heart.
I can verify bucktooth tetras will eat beef heart. Beef heart. Yes, beef hearts.
Apparently, locals living in areas where the species is commonplace.
Beef heart.
Dirty pans and dishes. Oh, where the species is common, place dirty pans and dishes into the water, and the fish perform a useful task by picking every scrap of food from them. I think we used to do that with my dog back in the day.
Yeah, I do that. I do that with the dog. Yeah, the dogs are pretty good at that. Although, like, we had to stop doing that because our dogs are getting old, you know?
Yeah, and once they start getting kind of fat over it.
Yeah. We have lumpy dogs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are kind of lumpy.
We got them lumpy dogs. They're like those regular dogs, except they're lumpy and old and lumpy. Right?
Yeah.
Is that how that goes? Is that how that song goes?
I think so, because I think you just made it up, and so therefore, however it goes is how it goes.
No, that's a classic jam from the classics of all classical jams. Number one, top of the chart. Straight to your heart. Top of the chart. Right?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just over here clicking buttons. I'm a natural-born button clicker. You know what I mean? And bee farter. Cat milker. Anyhow. Okay. Yeah. Bucktooth tetras. I've had a good time with that fish. And they will, I can pretty much verify if anything has any kind of good amount of protein in it, they will eat it. I never had problems with flake. Never had problems with pellets. Never had problems with frozen stuff. I couldn't really necessarily find anything that they wouldn't eat, you know, unless it was like vegetables, you know. They ain't going to eat it. But, yeah, a great fish. Always had a great time with them. They're a fun schooling fish, but they will get pretty big, so, you know, be prepared with a sizable tank. They need a good amount of swimming area and stuff. So if you're not ready for that, Might not be a fish for you, but do not despair. They are not endangered or anything like that, so you probably have a good opportunity if you have to wait a year or two before you get to getting them. Ooh, Ryan and Annalie, both brand new to the Patreons. Mm-hmm. Well, that is our Patreon member post of the week. Obviously, it was a little bit longer than normal, right?
Well, it was 2 weeks we had to catch up on.
Yeah, we had 2 weeks to catch up on. I haven't been around. I've been busy. We went out of town. Vicky, myself, and this little peanut right here. She got big. See that?
And not me. I just worked a lot.
Not you. We went out. We had some family vacation. We went to a couple of spots. The first place we went to was the Methow Valley up in northeastern Washington. Right?
Not North Dakota?
It's not North Dakota. It's like Canada, eh?
A little
Except
bit.
really hot. It's hot.
So hot
Hot
right now.
there. It's hot there. Really hot, warm out, really nice. It was a good time. Posted up some stuff on the Instagram. I think I put a few things on the community page, blah, blah, blah. You guys know I do my best to tie you guys in.
Mm-hmm.
No videos from that, as that was just kind of strictly family reunion type situation. And to be brutally honest, like, some of our family didn't show up. So I can't imagine that had I made a video, it would have excluded that, or maybe I would have, maybe I would have been like, where's my uncle at? They're not here. Here's their empty spot. I'm not really sure what video I was supposed to make. So we didn't make anything about that. But this last weekend, we went to raft the Tieton River. Are you excited?
I'm pretty excited.
It's the Tieton River. Oh, yeah. Do you want to raft the river? Yes. It's a super rapidy river. Woo! Out there at Rimrock Lake, which as Bentley Pasco, sorry. I'm going to say Pasco, and then I'm going to go back to saying Pascal. And I love you, buddy, mentioned that that's out near Yakima, Washington, which is also super hot. We had a good time. It was out there in the desert. And, yes, we do have a video at some point in time coming from that, because it's part of what up-and-coming slight, not necessarily content changes, more to just, like, expansion of kind of what I'm doing on this channel. I'm going to start adding some more of the nature stuff back again. I think we're probably going to start doing more gardening vlogs and those kinds of things again. I kind of had to walk away from doing some of that content for a little bit as we got busy. And as you guys know, I built out the aquarium co-op warehouse, which I think Corey's been pretty public about that now, so I think I could talk about it a little bit. I built all the farm tank stands there, plumbed everything in, painted the whole place. We did cleaned up a bunch of stuff, fixed a bunch of electrical that was all weird. There's a ton of things going in to get that place going, and happy to say it's up and running now. 88 plant tanks are in. 88 tanks. You ever done 88 tanks all in a row?
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I have. So suck it, Trebek. But yeah, they're all 30-inch. Front to back, 24-inch wide, one on top, one below, big shelves up in there, all that kind of stuff. That's all in, so we got pretty occupied, so I did have to
Are they like 40-gallon tanks?
I had to take the content back a little bit. Yeah, they're basically like 39.25 gallons.
Oh.
But they're...
But not 40 gallons, so...
It's not... What's that?
But not 40 gallons, so obviously they're not cool.
They're way cooler than a 40-gallon, honestly.
I know.
The footprint's way better than a 40 breeder because it's 24 side to side,
Yeah.
30-inch front to back, and then like 12 and a half tall or something like that. They're cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm just giving you crap.
Unfortunately, well, here's the weird thing. Like, we ordered so many of them, and I was like gonna see if I could have Corey just like add in 10, and then I would just pay him for them. But the ones that we had to get them made, like the blackout sides of them would be wrong for me. Would have needed to like do the blackout the opposite of the way they are, right? Because this way was like, it wouldn't have looked good in a fish room, but it looks good in a farm situation, farming of plants, right?
Yeah.
Or is it weird?
What
happened?
I want to see it.
What?
I want to see all the tanks.
I
don't really need to see it.
I have a ton of video shot. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a super crazy. I mean, it will be pretty interesting to a lot of people if you've never built anything like that. I have a ton of video shot. I'm just waiting for Corey to put out his videos on it, basically.
Right.
And then I'll release some of the videos that I'll release some of the videos about doing the build out and stuff. I did post some of the stuff onto the Discord. I think you guys have seen some of the behind the scenes onto the Discord. And mainly it's just because, like, I don't want to step on Corey's toes and be like, hey, here's your thing, buddy. I posted it up here already. I mean, obviously he has a much larger channel and stuff than I do, so it's a lot better to let that audience be able to see it first because it's his thing.
Right.
It's his project. It's his company.
Yeah. He's paying money for it.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure he'll...
I don't know. Did he make you sign an NDA?
He'll... no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I need to. Do I need to?
No, you don't need to. It's the culture of the area. Everybody's signing NDAs for everything.
Well, you know, I don't really have any private information or anything like that, you know, like that an NDA would require.
Yeah.
You know, it would be like, you can't tell anybody you built this stuff. Be like, okay. But I'm standing right next to it with a hammer in my hand.
And a drill.
And covered in sawdust.
And a bucket.
They might know it's me. You know, it'll be like, you can't tell them how to build this. Like, it's lumber. And what? Why not? Like, there's a million fish tank stand videos around, you know. So the what's the word I'm looking for here? So yeah, at some point in time those videos will come out and things like that. I have a really cool project that I can't tell you guys about, but I'm looking forward to. And as I mentioned earlier, the Patreon is how and why that has been available. And well, we're up to 257, which means somebody deleted their Patreon during the show, and we have 2 new ones because we were at 256 when the show started, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, so that means somebody deleted theirs, and somebody came to be
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
That's okay. We're still headed in a direction.
It's still forward.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to say thanks to everybody coming in to the live chat, and to anybody out there that is posting that kind of nonsense into the chat that I deleted that none of you regular people can see. But any of my moderators out there, take a look at that. And if you see any nonsense about that, delete it in the future because it's garbage. Love you guys. Have a great weekend out there, and I'll be back on Monday. Solo being probably even weirder than I was today. Because I'm a dad now, and my dad bod means I got a belly and not abs. Thank you, Alyssa, for coming on.
You're welcome.
As always, we're 2 enthusiasts. We are not experts because we base our findings on experience and old age.
Yep.